Minecraft the movie is on its way. I am relatively new to gaming, like I've only really been gaming for about a year now, and Minecraft is like my third favorite game. And since the announcement of the movie, it's been constantly on my mind. I know the trailer did look pretty horrendous, but like, I'm still hyped for it, okay? I've been seeing a ton of beaded purses on my feed for some reason lately, so I'm gonna take that as a sign to make a Minecraft purse. If you don't know Minecraft, no worries, I'm not judging you. All my friends and their partners tease me for playing this game meant for kids, hence my 13 going on 30 costume, even though it's more like 30 going on 13. I mean, technically I'm not 30 yet, but like, close enough that the joke still lands, okay? Anyways, Minecraft is a game that's basically like, the graphics are all squares, so I thought it'd be like a nice, easy visual for me to try to replicate, seeing how I'm somebody who's rarely beaded ever in her life. Like, all I've ever beaded is like an outline of a heart. So, yeah. Trying to stick to the basics here. A basic, easy shape. I went to a local bargain store? Is that what it's called? It's like a dollar store, but it's more like mom and pop. Like it's locally owned. Anyways, I bought these beads. Them. I only really need the black and pink beads for this project, but there's so many beaded projects I have on my to-do list, and I'm always like finding an excuse being like, oh, well, I don't have the right materials. If I just start collecting them now, by the time I feel like getting the project done, I'll have no excuse. You know what I mean? It never hurts to have more art supplies. The creature that scares me the most in Minecraft is the Enderman, and since we're kind of still in spooky territory, I'm gonna make an Enderman purse. I know we're in November, but like, we're in that in-between season where it's like not yet Christmas and like Halloween's over, so it's very much like Nightmare Before Christmas. You can go either way. You're allowed to be a little bit of both, right? And I'm choosing full-on Halloween right now, okay? Point is, I am still in scary mode, so Enderman purse it is. Okay, so here is the plan. Again, this is my first time making anything like this, so I want to start off nice and unambitious. So I'm thinking of a little purse the size of my hand. Here is an Enderman, no body, just the head, all beaded. Then for the strap, maybe one side, like this, also beaded. Then maybe even a little beaded tag that has my name on it, or says Minecraft. Honestly, I doubt I'll have the time to make the tag. Let's see where my patience level is, because I might just skip it entirely. But wouldn't that just be the cutest? Here are the beads that I got. These two are from my local bargain store, and the ones in the large takeout containers are from Temu. Yes, I know you shouldn't be buying things on there, but have you seen the prices? I'm sorry, but my crafting wallet screams. Especially as a beginner beader, I'm honestly gonna get the cheapest beads I can find. Anyways, I noticed this morning in the shower that my bathroom tiles would be the perfect size for the purse, so I ended up drawing out a 4.5 inch by 4.5 inch square, cut it out, then traced it onto some fabric. I'm not using anything fancy, just some medium weight scrap from a previous project. From the beading videos I've seen online, I'm pretty sure you're supposed to use felt when beading, but I don't have any, so I am hoping this will do. Next, we're gonna divide up our paper into 64 little squares. I suck at math, okay? So instead of torturing myself, I just folded the page like so. First in half, then the half sections in half, then the halves of the half sections in half to get 8 perfectly even sections. Turned the page over and repeated the process to get 64 squares in total. Divided up the squares by color like this, then transferred the pattern onto some scrap black fabric. To mark out each square, I poked a hole through every single corner like this, then connected the dots on the fabric until I got this. To make it easier on my brain when crafting, I'm gonna paint in the grays and pinks so I know what area to fill with the beads when beading. You know what it's like when you're crafting? Shit can get confusing, so the more prep work you can do to eliminate making the dumb mistakes, the better. Let's start with the gray, mix some white and black acrylic together, then just start lightly filling in the corresponding sections. I don't think it has to be perfectly filled, just enough that you know what section needs to be beaded, what color. If your paint is too thick, just dilute it with some water. Mix some red and white to get pink, then blue and red to get a nice magenta. No one's gonna really see this, so the color doesn't have to be a perfect match to the bead. Close enough is good enough. Once that's done, just set it to the side to dry, then we can start the beading. If you're like me and are too impatient to wait, just take a blow dryer to the damn thing. Alrighty, now that we have it painted, we're gonna do a little like paint by numbers situation, but instead of paint, we're using beads. So like for the gray and black beads, I'm gonna use the black, and then for the eyes of the Enderman, I'm gonna use like this hot pink one for the hot pink beads, like the pupils, and then the pink part, I'm gonna use pink. You get it. I think I'm gonna sew the beads down in this direction, horizontally, going from top to bottom, starting with the black areas, then the gray, then the black, then pink, so on and so forth. Typically when you're hand stitching, you want an arm's length of thread. Anything more than that, you usually risk snapping your thread, because each time your needle goes through a piece of fabric, it kind of wears down the thread a little bit. So it's always nice to do one arm's length, but because I don't think this thread is really strong enough, like I really don't want the beads to fall apart. So I'm gonna do a whole body length of thread and then fold it in half, so it has double the strength when I'm stitching. So when I'm stitching these beads in, it's gonna be 2 threads at a time, if that makes sense. Pour your beads into a nice open container. Feed your threaded needle through the fabric, then pick up a couple beads. And here, ladies and gents, is where I ran into my first conundrum. The needle's too big. Not to worry, I have a set complete with a variety of sizes, so I just picked the smallest one I could find, and voila, we are back in business. Pick up 2 or 3 beads, feed your needle through the fabric to set the beads in place, bring your needle back up to the point where you started at, pull it through the beads, then pick up a new set of beads and repeat the process. Once you've got the first line, just pull your needle up to where you want to start your second line, then start beading again and again and again and again until you get something like this. I did it. I finally got it done. The first half of the purse. This took me a total of 11 hours. 11 hours. And now I gotta do it all over again. I feel like I can do it faster though. I think I can cut it down to maybe like 7 or 8 hours. It's just the first bit. I mean, you can't feel it. But if you could feel it, you can see that the first square that I did is super, super tight and not flexible at all. Whereas the rest of the piece, you can kind of do this. And it's because I space it out a lot more with every beaded line, so. Yeah, I'm just gonna power through this and get the other side done. I have a wedding to go to at the end of the month, and I really, really, really want to use this purse. So I need to get this done ASAP. Like right now. It's currently 4 o'clock. I feel like I can get this done by like midnight for sure. Right? 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 I believe in me. Let's get started. Second side, done. How long did this take me, you ask? 12 hours. 12 hours. Yes, it took longer the second time around. Okay? Oh well, at least it's done and we're finally able to move on to the lining. Now, for a black bag, you'd assume the lining would match, but I personally hate pocket linings that are black. Listen, hear me out, hear me out. When you're in a rush and you're throwing a bunch of stuff in your bag, okay, imagine. You're just throwing it, your gloss in there, I don't know what else you need. More gloss. I put a lot of things in my bag, okay? When you're running late, you just, start tossing things in your bag. And later on, when you have a moment, you kind of rummage, you open it, you rummage through. And when you have black lining, you literally can't see anything. You can't find anything. You have to all your stuff out, or you need to use a flashlight to see what's in there. And that's not practical. So every time I make a bag, I've always vowed to myself that the lining will be in color or just a lighter color than black. Like it could be a light gray, you know what I mean? So that I can actually see what's going on in the bag. You might not think that's very important, but it's very important to me, okay? It's the little details. And since this is like a custom bag, I'm gonna customize it to what I like. So we are going to go with this lining. It kind of goes with the eyes, I think. I don't know if it reads on camera, but I feel like it's a nice middle ground color for this project. I have used this before with the NRG bag recreation, for the pocket lining, and it turned out pretty great, so that's why I'm using this again. Using the same stencil for the beaded sides, trace out the square twice, about 1 inch apart from each other onto the lining fabric. Grab some pinking shears, then cut, leaving about a 1/2 inch seam allowance all the way around. Place the good sides together, then give it a nice straight stitch along these 3 sides. This here is my mom's old sewing machine she decided to take out of hiding. Mine has been malfunctioning for some reason, so I'll be using this for the time being. If you think your seam allowance is a bit too bulky, no worries, just give it a good trim. Now just put that aside and bring in the Enderman heads. Just like the lining, we're gonna place the good sides together, then straight stitch along these 3 sides. You can pin it to make sure it doesn't slip and slide. Please be extra cautious during this process as you want to avoid hitting any of those beads with the needle. Cracking a couple of them is inevitable, but getting hit in the eye with the remains is 1000% avoidable. If you're not experienced on the machine, definitely wear some goggles and go extra slow. I'm talking stopping after every stitch type of slow. Of course, I did none of those things because a rebel. Once that's done, trim your seam allowances, then bag it out. I could only get so close to the sewing machine, so I ended up with these empty spaces that needed to be filled in with the beads. Gonna do that off camera, then bam, 3 hours later. I took the liberty of folding in the lining at the top, then tacking it down. Insert the lining, fold in the seam allowance, pin the lining in place, then invisible stitch the lining and the beaded fabric together all the way around. I wanted to make the strap out of the black beads, but seeing how long beading the rest of it took, nah. I'm opting for a quicker option, faux pearls. I prefer the bigger balls I have here, but I'm an idiot and didn't realize that these don't have holes in them. They're not for crafting, just display. So I'm gonna opt for these smaller white ones instead. This part is pretty straightforward, so I'm gonna do this off camera. So get ready for the reveal in 3, 2, 1. Ta-da! Here is the final result. I was working on a bit of a time crunch, so I didn't get to finish it properly, like giving it a closure, for instance, a snap or button at the opening. The strap is also not what I envisioned, but I think it works well as a stand-in for now. And of course, as predicted, I didn't get to add a little name tag. Other than that, I did pretty darn swell, if I do say so myself. The only thing that really annoys me about this project is how long it took to bead.
God damn. I mean, this was my first time beading a purse, so I wasn't expecting it to be done like in an hour, but I definitely wasn't expecting days, like morning to night beading. That being said, I can't wait to do this again. I don't know if you know, but there's this artist on Instagram. I think her account's called Paula's Projects. She makes these cute little bags from recycled plastic, and I've been dying to try it. This little exercise makes me feel like I can. It's definitely something I'll have to tackle when I get back. I'm currently traveling in Asia and will probably be away for a couple of months, and carrying a bunch of art supplies with me just seems silly, you know? I'd love to be that girly that's crafting on the go, but I'm not, so this will just have to wait. I'm still gonna try my best to post while I'm away because I've got a ton of videos I haven't edited yet. Hashtag procrastinator. But in the meantime, please do check out some of my other videos. They need some love too, okay? Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.